This Valentine's Day is a time of action for many Uber drivers, with people taking to the streets and protesting things like wages and working conditions. Shauna Hunt joins us now from Nathan Phillips Square, where people are gathering today. We could hear them behind you, Shauna. Tell us what the scene is like there.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, well, Melissa, this one-day strike and protest is not only happening here, but right across North America. You can see here at Nathan Phillips Square, a few dozen Uber drivers are gathering, and they're here today to call for better pay. A recent report put out by rideshare advocates claims that Uber drivers are making about $10 below minimum wage after factoring in, things like expenses and time spent with customers. So joining us now is rideshare advocate Nathan Phillips. And first of all, just take me through why Valentine's Day was the chosen day to hold this strike action, and also take me through what this report found.
You know, this day was chosen actually by American drivers. This movement started in the U.S. and then somebody called for it to become global, and drivers started posting on social media saying, "Why not us?" And a few of us said, "Why not?" And we decided, and that's when it was born on January 21st. A few of us came together and decided to help organize Toronto drivers to stand up. And then we heard about Vancouver drivers, and we said, "Join us on February 14th." And that happened. Then we heard Winnipeg joined. Then we heard that the UK joined. Then we heard that Mexico joined. So this is truly a global event today. We're all suffering the same issues everywhere with these gig companies.
Okay, so take me through this report. It claims that Uber drivers are making about $6 an hour.
Well, there is a range between 6 and change and 10 and change. I mean, we all have different types of vehicles, and we all have work different hours, and we all have different expenses. But the report actually took data from the city and Uber data. And then the Rideshare Drivers Association, in cooperation with a major Facebook group of drivers, drivers voluntarily submitted their data, their earnings screenshots, and we compiled it. Now, our spreadsheet and our data is not a scientific study, but it actually corroborated city and Uber data. And after looking at our expenses, it did corroborate that drivers are making less than half of minimum wage. And in many cases, we have drivers that are operating in the hole. They don't even know it. And it's one of the reasons why the in and out of drivers on a monthly basis is really, really high, because drivers see they're not making enough money.
Okay, so Uber Canada, is also speaking out on this, and they're saying that drivers actually make more than $33 per engaged hour. So what does engaged hour mean, and what do you have to say to that?
An engaged hour means we need to work more than 2, sometimes 2.5. We have screenshots. We would be happy to continue this conversation and share with you some of this information from drivers who are sitting out there sometimes 4, 5, 6 hours without even getting a single ride. So how do you even get that? We have screenshots of drivers who were stuck in traffic in downtown Toronto on a ride that was only 1 or 2 kilometers or 4 kilometers at most. It took a whole darn hour in this congestion, and they made $10. That's $33 per an engaged hour? No.
Okay, so what are the next steps in this? So, who needs to step in? What has to be done to remedy the wage gap?
Well, the thing is that it has to be tackled in multiple fronts. And we're working, many of us, Gig Workers United, rideshare drivers, many people are working in many ways. The City of Toronto is working to study the industry to make sure that drivers can afford, like, for instance, the transition of the EVs. We can't do it on $6 to $10 an hour. Okay. And then legislatively, we need to see labor laws change. There is Bill 88, but it's hollow, it's empty, it has no teeth to make sure that we have a wage floor of minimum wage. But we will continue striving and working, just like other labor organizations. Gig Workers United is also working on this, and we will keep fighting.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Erla. You know, once again, this strike action, is happening on a typically busy night in Toronto. It's Valentine's Day, and this could put a crimp in your plans, whether you're going out or ordering in. The strike action will also be impacting Uber Eats. Now, as for the rally behind me here, I'm being told that eventually these drivers will be hitting the road, and eventually heading off to Uber headquarters on Bloor Street, where the protest will continue. Melissa.
Okay, a day of action there. Thanks for that update, Shauna.